Cutting it close, the decision that could cost controversial state representative Justin Jones a spot on the ballot.
Targeting Tennesseans, the elaborate scheme preying on seniors.
It humbles you, it ignites you.
And saving lives one veteran at a time. The Mid-State woman on a mission to prevent veteran suicide. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
New tonight, the latest on State Representative Justin Jones' ongoing battle to get his name on the August ballot.
His Republican challenger, Lauren Nelson, is challenging the signatures that Jones gathered on his qualifying petition. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the Howard Building downtown, where the Metro Election Commission just voted in Jones's favor. Caitlin, things even got heated at some moments. Break it down for us.
Yes, they did. Well, the commissioners just voted that there are 25 valid signatures in support of Representative Justin Jones, which means that he will be on the ballot in August. Now, initially, Lauren Nelson tried to challenge 11 of the signatures, but during her presentation, she changed that number to 3. Now, Representative Jones has made it on national stage after he was expelled for protesting for gun reform on the House floor. He was immediately sent back to his old seat by Metro Council. Now, in order to run, a person needs 25 signatures from voters in their district. Laura Nelson first accused Jones of not submitting his initial evidence on time and then challenged some of the signatures, claiming they did not match previous signatures or were misspelled. Representative Jones presented affidavits, he says, with physical proof that the people identified did in fact sign in support of Jones.
I'm going to bring each person who they challenged on this petition, because that was submitted as evidence, and have them come explain how they signed this petition. Because I don't have my spouse or a family member to testify on my behalf. We have the people of District 52 who signed this petition.
On 4, you can see Jennifer Bontusa's printing, how she prints her name. And by the way, she prints her name with 2 N's. On the petition, the nominating petition of Mr. Jones, whoever signed her name and printed her name incorrectly.
Now, again, Representative Jones will be able to appear on the ballot in August, and the Election Commission did say that there were 26 signatures that he did submit. Now, they also said a lot of times people submit a lot more signatures than that, and we asked Representative Jones that question, and we'll have more on that coming up tonight at 10. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In your community, today marks a deadly anniversary for Middle Tennessee. Who can forget this image? On this day back in 2010, the area received part of the 13 inches of rain that fell in 48 hours. The resulting flood, which you see evidence here, covered homes, businesses, and sometimes entire neighborhoods. 18 people were killed. Now, this disaster left tens of thousands of people without electricity and forced emergency responders to rely in some cases on small gas generators to power disaster relief centers. 14 years later, a mid-state company is teaming up with a nonprofit to create an alternative that never runs out of gas. The 2010 flood is a disaster that is forever imprinted on the hearts and minds of those who survived it. Recovery took years, but the initial response should be a little easier for future disaster victims thanks to something called a microgrid.
A microgrid is a power production unit that allows electricity to be captured by either solar, wind, or other production options, gas generators, hydrogen, you name it, stored on site using batteries or other versions of energy storage, and then output through regular outlets.
Today, employees of Schneider Electric, which has a hub in Nashville, helped to build a series of microgrids. They are essentially a trailer with 4 solar panels on top and batteries inside to store the power generated by the sun. Those trailers will be deployed across the country to help first responders who desperately need reliable power.
Whether it's charging your phone or keeping your food cold or powering your Wi-Fi or running your building, microgrids allow lots of different energy sources to be used, stored, and then dispatched where they're needed most.
Schneider gives the Footprint Project, the nonprofit behind mobile microgrids, $250,000 a year. A couple of hundred Schneider employees were a part of the bill today. Now, all of this is green energy, which is a focus for the Footprint Project since it began operations in 2018. It has sent people and microgrids to 25 disaster and recovery missions, including the Mississippi tornadoes last March and the wildfires in Maui out in Hawaii back in August.
Now to Operation Crime and Justice. An Army Lieutenant Colonel stationed at Fort Campbell is accused of illegally bringing in guns from Russia, China, and other countries. A grand jury indicted 40-year-old Frank Ross Talbert on 21 charges. He pleaded not guilty in federal court in Nashville.
Gosh, going to be hearing a lot of that this month. A lot of Middle Tennesseans will see the return of cicadas and hear them as well. These flying insects make a lot of noise while trying to find a mate, but the good news is they won't be around for long. Now, here is a look at some of the different varieties of cicadas that we have in Tennessee. The county's highlighted in green right here. You see them right here around the Nashville area and down a little south of town. These are brood 19 cicadas. They will be emerging this month. The counties that are highlighted in yellow are other brood numbers, and we are not going to see them emerging this year, so that's good news. At least in these areas, we won't have to deal with that. Brood 13 is also emerging this year, and the good news is that we don't have any of those here in Middle Tennessee. Now, tonight's Fox 17 viewer poll on X asks if you have seen any cicadas where you live. A little over, just under 270 votes have come in. The vast majority of you, 72.5%, say it hasn't started for you just yet. The poll's live right now. If you'd like to let us know what's happening in your area, scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. It will link you to our X poll on our X page, our handle at Fox Nashville, and we will update the results for you later in the newscast.
Tomorrow, a love scheme that's breaking some bank accounts. Romance cons here in the U.S. are raking in billions of dollars, and those behind the keyboard know what they're doing. From playing the long game to gain your trust, to creating AI to use a fictional person, and then once they get your money, it's gone. Almost impossible to get it back.
My whole thing is don't become a victim. I personally have dealt with a half a dozen victims here right in our area who were victimized in this scam.
Friday on Fox 17 News at 9, the red flags you cannot ignore.
Turning to the weather now, we have been telling you for a couple days that we're going to have some storms, and they're out there.
They are out there, and these are just going to be very pop-up for the next several days. So Friday, we have a weak cold front moving through. I think it'll be a little bit more widespread, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even into Tuesday, Wednesday, very summertime-like pattern that we're in right now. The good news, though, does not look like we're going to see any severe weather right now. Here's your live look over Broadway. It was raining a little bit here in Nashville. We had a few showers pop up, and they were moving up from the south, moving up north through Middle Tennessee, up into southern Kentucky. Pretty much have fizzled out right now. I'll show you that on radar. 77 degrees right here in Nashville, so still fairly mild. Here's some of this rain that I'm talking about. Some of this was moving up from the south. We also have this cold front that's moving through parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas right now. That's going to be a weak cold front by the time it gets to our area, but it will help with a few more showers and a few more thunderstorms as we head through the day on a Friday. Again, no lightning with this round of rain that moved through earlier. So everybody out there at that Morgan Wallen concert didn't have to have any delays because of any sort of lightning, just some rain showers that moved overhead, nothing bad. Morgan Wallen concert for tomorrow. We're going to have temperatures in the 70s. There's that slightly better chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. And then on Saturday, a fairly similar setup. More details coming up for the rest of your weekend in just a bit.
Coming up next, a combat veteran goes from near suicide to saving people from suicide. It is a remarkable story from a Nashville woman with a remarkable heart.
Brick Estate in Franklin, Tennessee. An updated 5-bedroom brick home in a sought-after location backing up to a private lake. Saturday, May 4th, 10 a.m. Conducted by James R. Cash, auction style.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
A Nashville combat veteran continues to save lives on the home front. Sarah Lee has gone from considering suicide to living a life of purpose.
Well, this turnaround is part of the Waypoint vet story. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier with tonight's Ferrier Files.
Sometimes the brightest light can emerge from the darkest moment.
We met Sarah Lee back in 2018, struggling with survivor's guilt and thoughts of suicide. Sarah got on a bike, hoping to purge her demons, to find a path forward again.
That was part of the issue for me, was I wasn't living a life worthy of my friend's sacrifice. Whether you've deployed or not, we all know someone that's died on our behalf. We feel a debt that we can't repay.
Those 4,000 miles on the road led this combat veteran to a bold idea. Maybe not repayment, but something close. WaypointVets.org. to help vets rediscover themselves and purpose through adventure trips with other vets, doing difficult, teamwork-oriented activities in places of staggering beauty.
It humbles you, it ignites you, and the camaraderie mixed in there, really, you get to do a lot of inner work that you're not even necessarily aware of that's happening. It just happens so naturally. And so people are making major changes in their lives after our trips.
People like Lori Rhodes, a 32-year combat veteran who retired from the military, lost, suicidal, and hopeless after she lost her mother. She went on a Waypoint Vets trip, distracted and mourning until a red hail talk flew right by her exhausted face.
And Sarah reached over and grabbed my hand and said, "That's the Indian version of a cardinal, and that's your mama telling you it's okay." And so from that second, I stood up and I heard all the stories and all the veterans and all my brothers and sisters, their joy, their pain. I laughed. I was a child again.
Now Lori is the Chief Operations Manager for Waypoint Vets and the trip chef. She's not an exception, she's the rule. 25 trips. The waiting list for adventure trips never drops under 200. This little nonprofit is actually saving lives.
It's so many. So many of our veterans have really come around and felt themselves come back to life. Many of our veterans had plans to end their life prior to the trip, and having that trip to look forward to helped them push through. And then once they were on the trip, rediscovering and redefining themselves really empowered them to make some major changes and to choose life.
Thank you for supporting Waypoint Vets.
So you're wondering how you can help. Waypoint Vets' big fundraiser is this Saturday. It's a motorcycle ride, scenic loop at 11 a.m., begins and ends at the Gallatin Elks Club, and then live music and lunch. WaypointsVets.org is 100% volunteer. They have an amazing donor who matches all donations, so anything you give doubles down. You can find out more online. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News Ferrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Well, a few minutes ago, we were talking about the Morgan Wallen concert, and you guys are going to go, is it tomorrow?
I wish I was going.
No, Megan's going.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and those guys need some decent weather.
I know, and I hope so. I have a couple of friends that are there right now, and they're like, when's it going to stop raining?
Yeah.
Starting tonight.
I was like, give it like 10 to 15 minutes, it'll move out. There was no lightning, so everybody was.
You're going to be like the most liked or hated guy.
You know, I'm having flashbacks to this time last year with Taylor Swift.
Oh, gosh,
that was
terrible.
a crazy forecast. That last day especially, with all the thunderstorms that were kind of in the area. Here you go, everybody. Here's your live look over Broadway. A pretty good crowd out there right now. Temperatures here in Nashville, we are at 77. It's still pretty cloudy, too. As far as any rain goes, most of that is still going to, has to wait a little bit longer to get to us. We did have that little early round move through, but most of this we still have to wait a little bit longer for. We're going to have this cold front that's well to the west of us right now. That's going to keep on sliding into our area for tomorrow, and that's going to help kick off a few more showers and thunderstorms later on in the day. today. And here's what we've had going on over the past 3 hours. There's that little round of showers that moved right there around Interstate 65 earlier this evening. That moved in and out of here pretty quickly. Again, no lightning with any of that, so that is some good news too. As we go through the rest of the night, we will see a better chance for some showers begin to move in through the overnight hours. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Still some just kind of scattered activity, and that's really what we're going to be looking at for the next few days. This is tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Still some scattered activity. A little bit later on in the afternoon, this model is actually keeping us a little bit drier for the start of the afternoon, but then by the middle part of the evening, around 7, 8, 9 o'clock or so, we're going to see that other round move up from the south. This is Friday night, 10 o'clock. I think some of those showers and thunderstorms are going to be moving in closer to the Nashville area, and then more of that, more moving in through the overnight hours into early Saturday morning, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Just some more scattered activity, 7, 8, 9 in the morning, and then this is noon on Saturday, and it's really just going to be scattered activity throughout Saturday as well. This is kind of a thunderstorm, or a summertime, a thunderstorm pattern that we're in, so these are just going to be very pop-up storms, kind of hard to give you an exact location, but definitely the possibility for some showers and thunderstorms as we head throughout the rest of the weekend. And that same trend is going to carry on over into early next week as well. Monday, we are going to keep a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. And then on Tuesday, we're going to keep that rain chance as well. Could even extend that over into Wednesday and Thursday too. So a little bit of a rainy pattern as we head through the next several days. As far as rainfall amounts go, I think we're generally going to be talking about 1.5 to 2.5, maybe up to 3 inches of rain. If you get caught up in some of those heavier thunderstorms though, those could drop a little bit more. We are in severe weather season right now. The good news though, no rounds of severe weather, it doesn't look like, at least as of right now. So that is good news. I'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Well, finding love on the farm, the contestants still fighting for one.
We couldn't pay bills. It's more about the way they feel about their clients and trying to help them get back on their feet.
That's why I do what I do.
You treat us like a person and not just another claim.
In your entertainment news, we are checking back in with our Mount Juliet farmer competing on season 2 of Farmer Wants a Wife right here on Fox. The show aired just before our newscast, and we have farmer Mitchell Kalinsky on the line joining us live tonight. Thanks for being here, Mitchell.
Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Of course. Well, the final hometown date played out tonight. You have all the information before making your final decision. Have you made up your mind? Everybody wants to know, or are you still deciding?
You know, I have to consider everything. So it takes time, you know, meeting their family and really getting to know them and having those deep conversations. That's what makes these decisions so tough. So no, I'm still deciding for sure.
Okay, well, you know, typically on the show, we see the dads take on the farmers one-on-one, grill them hard. Tonight, Kate's best friend took on that role. She did not hold anything back. Was there a realization that you have 2 girls that are invested in you along with their friends and family, and ultimately you're going to have to break someone's heart?
Yeah, those words, they don't take them lightly, and it's something I really don't enjoy doing. These girls both are so wonderful, and I've enjoyed having them on the farm. So saying goodbye, it's not something I'm taking lightly.
Okay, so Sydney is in New Jersey, Kate's in LA, totally opposite ends of the country. Both great girls, also very different, and they have very different lives. Where is your head right now, and what's going to be the standout quality that seals the deal?
You know, I can't give too much away, but I have both 2 wonderful girls, and I have to consider all things. And after meeting their family, now it's like I got to finally, I guess, make this hard decision. So it's time. It's down to the wire, and I'm ready.
And everybody's ready, too. We can't wait to see what you decide. So a week from today, right, the finale?
The 9th, we're going to be at PBR Bar on downtown Nashville. I think that's on 2nd Ave. And we're going to be a little maybe celebrity bartending, some members from the community there. So I really encourage any friends and family in Nashville, come on out. We're going to have a good time.
I love it. It's right here in our own backyard, and we can't wait to see which lucky lady comes back to call Nashville home with you. We are following along, rooting you on, and can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Means so much. Thank y'all for the support. I love Fox 17.
All right. Well, we love you right back, and we can't wait to see you next week for the finale. Thanks, Mitchell.
Good evening. See y'all.
Love that. Very cool. All right, business news now. T-Mobile now owns Mint Mobile. It finalized the purchase yesterday. Mint Mobile's partial owner, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, will continue his creative role with the company. T-Mobile confirmed that Mint Mobile will still offer its cheapest plan starting at $15 a month. The new deal will allow T-Mobile the opportunity to jump back into the prepaid phone market.
Going to the extremes to rip you off, the scheme designed
checks in the typical hour.
They really take pride in what they do.
Like us.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, a warning from the FBI. Crooks are using elaborate schemes to rip off older Tennesseans. A 2023 state report shows 1,577 elderly people lost $43 million to fraudsters last year alone. Joining us now is Special Agent Richard Baer. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Have the authorities been able to establish a pattern of how these criminals operate and prey on their victims?
Yeah, there's a lot of different fraud schemes, but obviously the common denominator in this day and age is the internet and the ability that fraudsters and criminals have to identify people from afar, not even in this country, and then also to leverage those here in this country that are witting and sometimes unwitting to help facilitate the fraud schemes.
How hard is it for you in your capacity with the FBI to trace these criminals and shut them down?
Well, we have the strength of our federal grand jury and other legal tools at our disposal. So typically, if we focus towards a particular threat or crime, we're going to advance the goals of that investigation through these techniques. But in this day and age, it is a challenge. It's the worldwide internet that is kind of pervasive, and it's a blessing that also introduces a lot of vulnerabilities in all of our lives.
We're doing several reports on this and talking with another FBI agent. He was able to trace this back to organized Chinese sophisticated crime rings. Like you said earlier, the common denominator here, the internet, and the top 4 nefarious tactics being deployed involve tech support, cryptocurrency, non-payment or non-delivery plots, and romance shams. How do you get out this information so that our sweet elderly population don't get duped?
Well, that's actually the name of the game in this day and age. One of the things I feel very supportive to amplify is anywhere we can be in the FBI and our partnerships throughout the state. We have phenomenal partnerships with our local, state, and even federal counterparts. And we really want to get the message wherever that message needs to be heard, whether it's here on a news segment like this, or whether it's in social media ourselves, putting out good tidbits for people to see. Wherever people get their information, it might be actually in a conference session where we go to the real estate community and provide them with an hour of training on schemes and different types of crimes that we're seeing that are affecting that industry. We really want to get this message out to everybody.
Well, this is hundreds of millions of dollars that we're talking about here. Any luck recovering that money once it's turned over to criminals?
Yeah, so typically what we like to do is move really fast towards that. Whenever we detect there's a fraud, and what we always try to preach to all is to keep the ic3.gov website at almost as a bookmark. Know that it exists. Know that there's a national-based resource. It's almost like the 911 for fraud. And that anything you provide in an intake form on the fraud scenario you're dealing with will be farmed out to wherever it might touch in the FBI or nationwide in other partnerships that we have. It'll also kick into our financial kill train process with the banking industry. So if there is, in the element of time, any hope of recovering those funds before they dissipate overseas, that's the goal.
How are these fraudsters getting the information? Are the elderly or the victims willingly turning this over, or do they have the identities of a lot of these people and then go after them?
It's a little bit of both. It's different trades and tactics are deployed. It might be a sophisticated attempt where they gain entry to a computer because maybe the computer is lax, or maybe some nefarious websites were seen or viewed that implanted cookies and other different types of technologies on the phone or on the device or even on the computer. And then now they might have a little bit of an inside look into that person's either network or computer and the ins and outs of what's happening. And then they could also get very sophisticated and even spoof different emails and communications that are coming in, all centered around financial flows.
Well, so many people are losing their life savings over this. So Special Agent Richard Baer, thanks so much for helping us get the word out. Very important topic tonight.
It's my pleasure. I'll be safe.
In Operation Crime and Justice, parking in the wrong driveway nearly gets a high school pizza delivery driver over in Ashland City killed. Police say it all started when the teen parked in Ryan Babcock's driveway. You see it right there. The driver quickly realized he had a pizza that was going to a neighbor's house, decided to leave his truck there and walk to the right place. Well, when the delivery driver got back in his vehicle, he says Babcock started shooting, hitting his truck 7 times. Babcock is now charged with aggravated assault.
If you're new to Nashville, important tools and ways that you can stay safe during severe weather season. Of course, having that way to stay alert. Our QR code here will give you that Code Red Weather app. Ways that you can stay safe is making sure that you're staying on top of the latest weather information. I want to talk a little more about our tornado facts here in Middle Tennessee. On average here in Middle Tennessee, we see about 10 tornadoes, and these are all statistics from 1950 to 2023. Some years we see more, some years we see less. It just depends on our weather pattern. Of course, the best place you can be during a tornado warning is going to be in the lowest level of your home, away from windows, in an interior location. That may be a bathroom for your house. It may be a closet. If you have a basement, even better, but away from windows is really where you want to be, in an interior location. A lot of these tornadoes come from, and especially the ones that we've been talking about in the Central Plains the last few days, come from these types of storms. These are called supercell thunderstorms, and in the corner is where we typically find the tornado. This is what we call the hook echo, maybe language that you've heard before, but another type of thunderstorm complex that we get thunderstorms and tornadoes from come from these severe lines, or what we call our QLCS in meteorology terms. So supercells can form here in Tennessee, but they're not as often as what we see with these complexes of thunderstorms. These often produce low-end tornadoes, EF 0, 1s, and 2s, and they're a little harder to pick out, which is why it is so important to have those ways to stay alert. Now, on average, we tend to find more of our tornadoes March, April, and May. That's our traditional severe weather season, but we are starting to see a secondary severe weather season emerge, especially in the last few decades, October, November, and December. Case in point, here in Middle Tennessee, it's important to stay weather aware all year round. So reliable ways to have those weather alerts include the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app, making sure your wheel alerts are turned on as well. Those would be like the Amber Alerts that you get on your phone. Tornado warnings will come over your phone the same way, making sure that that is triggered on your phone. Weather radio is a great backup tool to have, and then of course staying up to date with the latest information when there is severe weather possible in the forecast through television, social media, and the web. All of these are great ways to stay alert here with Tennessee weather.
The president breaks his
low monthly payments with no interest for 84 months, only at Ashley.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Continuing coverage tonight as President Biden weighs in on the campus crackdowns on the protests over the Israel-Hamas war.
And as Fox 17 News' Matt Gulka shows us, the arrests keep piling up with worries about how non-students impacted the demonstrations. By the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen.
This isn't a moment for politics. It's a moment for clarity. So let me be clear. Peaceful protest in America. Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is. It's against the law when violence occurs.
President Biden criticized for not addressing the nationwide college protests that have crippled some campuses for weeks, made his most extensive comments Thursday. Chaotic scenes like this playing out at UCLA overnight may have forced the president's hand. Officers in riot gear moved in an encampment there. Police fired projectiles as clashes with protesters who refused to vacate the area led to arrests. Officers picked through the campus mess in the aftermath.
We have approximately 133 or 132 arrests.
Demonstrators from coast to coast took extreme steps of occupying campus buildings this week, leading to crackdowns as charges of anti-Semitism and safety concerns for Jewish students grew. The mayor of New York said protesters were being radicalized.
This is a global problem that young people are being influenced by those who are professionals at radicalizing our children, and I'm not going to allow that to happen as the mayor of the city of New York.
Some Republicans on Capitol Hill have further questioned the motives behind the campus movements that have been peppered with anti-Semitism.
Unfortunately, I think this is a logical consequence of this really divisive ideology that's been pushed by a lot of so-called elite universities and even in K-12 education now.
The president made his comments while he's trying to walk a tightrope with the campus protest issue by condemning anti-Semitism but also encouraging peaceful free speech. He could be trying to bridge the gap between progressives in his party more sympathetic to Palestinians and more moderate Democrats who are standing by Israel. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code posted up with this poll asking the question, do you agree with New York City's mayor's claim that young protesters are being radicalized? And here are the results on your screen. We've had just about 200 people weigh in. 85.1% say yes, 14.9% say no. Thanks for voting.
Well, we had a few showers move in not too long ago. More rounds of this rain, though, is expected as we head through the next several days. We'll kind of time it out for you here in just a
flavor that takes you back. Get Wendy's new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
The Biden administration wants more EVs on the road, and sales are rising. But along with that surge, there are concerns about how first responders should handle fire emergencies.
As Spotlight on America's Chris Daniels shows us tonight, electric cars present unique challenges, and there are no universal guidelines.
I would be dead. I could have been died that day.
Bishal Mala still deals with mental and physical scars.
My kids would have been orphaned. My wife would have been widowed. I would not be here right now. That's what it strikes my mind. Whenever I see that black mark on the side.
That black mark at the side of Highway 99 near Sacramento, California, is where his electric vehicle slowly started smoking.
All of a sudden, I hear some like rattling noise from the bottom of the car.
And exploded. As firefighters attempted to knock down flames. The fight took hours because while EV fires are not more common than fires in gas-fueled cars, lithium-ion batteries in EVs pose new challenges. They burn slowly and can reignite even after the fires are out, often requiring extra surveillance and tons of water. Bishal lived to tell a tale now being repeated across the country with different EVs, leaving scars of their own, raising a daily question on whether there should be a uniform response for fire departments. Down the road in Orange County, in Michigan, or outside Seattle. With so many new models, each with different layouts, there is not a standard for fire departments on how to attack.
It's kind of something we call an innovation blind spot.
In Seattle, the fire department quickly looks through an emergency response guide by make and model to figure out a best angle of attack. But they're admittedly ahead of the curve. Every car maker has their own schematics, their own guidance. Ron Moore is a former fire chief who's made it his mission to train responders on EV fires. Spotlight on America was invited to a training in North Carolina, where they cut open a Tesla in order to give firefighters an inside look at the unique design.
Vendors have come up with everything from $800 tools designed to extinguish the fire up to $40,000 extinguishing tools. And every vendor promotes their tool as the best. Right now, there is no clear winner.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, in a statement to Spotlight on America, said it is working on a rule-making action to propose further safety improvements to EV battery management systems, including requiring vehicle manufacturers to provide additional information related to fire risks and mitigation to first and second responders. But that was scheduled for last summer.
Is this anything that ever crossed your mind when you were buying
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Based on what you went through, would you ever buy another electric vehicle?
Nope, I would not. Forget about buying, I would not even drive one. I could have died that day.
And there is still a roadside sign of sorts on that freeway on-ramp, warning of the potential problems around the bend. I'm Chris Daniels for Spotlight on America.
This week on Full Measure, the border crisis, a big focus, of course, in the upcoming presidential campaign. And as the race for the White House heats up, President Biden is surprising some of his supporters by building new sections of border wall along the Texas-Mexico line. For the better part of the last 3 years, Mr. Biden and his Homeland Security Chief, Alejandro Mayorkas, claimed the border was closed and secure. Now this, as the Border Patrol says, millions of migrants poured in illegally. But now the administration has started to work on miles of new border barrier, even as it is opposing efforts by the state of Texas to do the same thing.
The hypocrisy is so nauseating. You know, on one end, you have President Biden building the border barrier. And at the other end, he's suing Governor Abbott for building or erecting a border barrier.
Why do you think the turnaround at the 11th hour? Why would the Biden administration now be building border wall?
I mean, bottom line is people overall as a country, they are seeing what's happening here. And the reality is that the circumstances that when you're having individuals coming into the country and again, not properly vetted or catch and release, it's having an impact on the national perspective here.
Cheryl Atkinson taking us to where the Biden border wall is being built right now to talk to locals about the issue that is driving their votes. That's on Full Measure, Sunday morning, 7:30, right here on Fox 17.
Well, today was a warm one. We were just 3 degrees shy of breaking the record. That would have been 90 degrees. We had 87 degrees earlier this afternoon, so a few degrees shy of the record, but still a warm day for us. And it was dry for most of the day. However, we did see a few showers move in earlier this evening. I know some of the folks out there at Nissan Stadium got rained on a little bit. The good news, though, is those showers moved through. No lightning with any of those. It was all dry. Here's your live look. It was all good on the lightning. There was that rain shower activity, though. Here's your live look over Broadway, 77 degrees. That's our current temperature right now. Still seeing a good bit of cloud cover out there. Those clouds are going to stick around with us through the rest of the night. Radar is still not showing much in our area. I'll zoom in here in just a second. This cold front that's back out west of here, that's going to keep on sliding our direction. That weak cold front is going to move through tomorrow, and that'll help kick off a few more showers and some thunderstorms as we head throughout the rest of the day tomorrow. Here's that little round of rain that I was talking about earlier this evening around 6, 7 o'clock or so. It was pushing up north. That weakened up quite a bit, and really not seeing a whole lot on the radar for right now. Most areas are still pretty dry. As we go through the rest of tonight, though, I think more showers and maybe some thunderstorms are going to start to build in too. This is 2 o'clock early tomorrow morning, just very scattered activity, and that's kind of going to be the trend as we go through the next several days. Just these very scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms, kind of like we're in a summertime pattern almost, the way these storms are going to be acting. And then Friday afternoon, just more scattered activity continues to move through. Late Friday, this is Friday at 10 o'clock, I think we'll kind of see that second wave push up. That's going to be moving in closer to Interstate 40, bringing the rain again to the Nashville area. Overnight, Friday into Saturday, more rain is going to be possible. Scattered rain showers by 7 o'clock in the morning. Saturday, early afternoon, more scattered activity will be possible. I think we get a little bit of a break late Saturday night on into early Sunday morning. We could still see a few showers, but I think a lot of areas will be a little bit drier. But then later on in the day on Sunday, another round of scattered activity, just these pop-up showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible as we head throughout the rest of Sunday. Monday, a similar setup for us, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, even in Thursday, we could still see some of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms, mainly for the afternoon hours. The good news, though, no severe weather expected with any of this. I think that's going to stay to the west of here, so overall, just some showers. Some thunderstorms will be likely, though. We have enough instability to get some of those thunderstorms going, but we're lacking on some of the other ingredients. And then as far as rainfall amounts go from now through Thursday, I think we'll be talking about 1.5 to 2.5 inches, up to 3 inches of rain or so in some of these areas. If you get caught up in any of those stronger thunderstorms, you will get a little bit more than that. Lower 80s for Saturday, 85 on Sunday. I think the warmest days are going to come by the middle of next week. High temperatures should reach to the upper 80s Wednesday and Thursday.
Straight ahead, throwing in the towel, the business Walmart.
Know about flooding in advance. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app. Fox 17 News Barrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
In consumer news, Walmart gave health care a try, but has decided against it as a future in terms of business for them.
Well, the retail chain announcing this week that it will close all of its 51 health centers and virtual care services. The clinics launched back in 2019 and expanded into telehealth.
But since that time, the company says it's struggled to find success. Walmart says dealing with all the different types of insurance, waiting for reimbursement, simply made things difficult. Just ahead, arriving in style, what prompted country great Tanya Tucker to ride her horse down Broadway.
That lets you choose, discover, share. Your view, your stories, simplified. Check out what's really happening in Middle Tennessee with a Fox 17 News app.
In your entertainment news tonight, Tanya Tucker still knows how to make an entrance.
Boy, does she. The Country Music Hall of Famer rode her horse downtown in Broadway today, attending the opening of her brand new watering hole. Folks lined the streets on both sides to watch her ride by as she waved. Tucker, now the second female country star with a presence on Broadway. Her new pop-up bar is located on the second floor of Nudi's Honky Tonk, just down the street from Miranda Lambert's bar and restaurant.
Should there be graduate ceremonies based on identity? I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a look at the controversy.
We're moving into springtime event season, and that means there's a lot of loud noise. I'm Liz Bonas. A new report which says we should all be protecting our hearing. We explain why just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
New tonight, after a contentious hearing that lasted for hours, State Representative Justin Jones' name will appear on the August ballot.
Well, a Republican challenger raised questions about whether some of those signatures on Jones's qualifying petition were legitimate. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live at the Howard office building downtown, where the Metro Election Commission just gave Jones that green light. A lot of debate and discussion, though. Caitlin?
Yes, Megan and Scott, it was a heated debate, and the commissioners voted that there are 25 valid signatures for Representative Jones, which does mean that he will appear on the ballot. Now, Laura Nelson initially had 11 challenges for the signature, but tonight she only presented 3 challenges. Now, Representative Jones has made it on the national stage after he was expelled for protesting for gun reform on the House floor. He was immediately sent back to his old seat by Metro Council. In order to run, a person needs 25 signatures from voters in the district. Laura Nelson first accused Jones of not submitting his initial evidence on time and then challenged some of the signatures, claiming they did not match previous signatures or were misspelled. Representative Jones presented affidavits, he says, with physical proof that the people identified did in fact support Jones. The Election Commission told Fox 17 News that Jones submitted 26 signatures, when typically people send a lot more, so we asked him why.
So we submitted earlier. You want to make us to do extra. The law says 25 certified signatures. We were certified. So the question to you is, why do you want us to do extra work when we were certified before the deadline?
On 4, you can see Jennifer Bontusa's printing, how she prints her name. And by the way, she prints her name with 2 N's. On the petition, the nominating petition of Mr. Jones, whoever signed her name and printed her name incorrectly.
And again, after the vote tonight, Representative Jones will appear on the ballot in August. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In your community tonight, a mid-state company with a national reach teams up with a nonprofit to help people who help us when there's an emergency. About 200 folks from Schneider Electric got together today to build a series of something called mobile microgrids. They're essentially trailers outfitted with 4 solar panels on top, batteries inside for storage. The Footprint project deploys these trailers to cities around the country that are hit by disasters. These rigs allow first responders to set up shop anywhere.
All that needs to be powered. And oftentimes, most of those sites are using fossil fuel generators, and our mission is to help deploy cleaner energy infrastructure into those situations.
Since its start back in 2018, the Footprint Project has sent people and microgrids to 25 disaster and recovery zones, including the Mississippi tornadoes last March.
Well, new tonight, country music legend Tanya Tucker making a grand entrance to the grand opening of her new tequila cantina. Earlier today, Tanya Tucker riding down Broadway on a horse. That's going to get people turning their heads, people lining the street, watching the whole thing happen. Tucker then put on a performance for her fans. Some people traveled from faraway states for this big grand opening, including Joe and Ella, a father and daughter who drove up from Atlanta just to see their favorite artist.
When my dad was growing up, Tanya was his favorite singer, and so I've grown up because he's my dad, like listening to her my whole life, and this has been something we've done together. Like, we've gone to Winona, Reba, but Tanya, we've gone like literally all over the South to see her.
90s country, the best. Well, Tanya Tucker's new pop-up bar is on the second floor of Nudi's Honky Tonk.
Pretty good day for all of us here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. It was a pretty warm one, too. We were about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. It was in question we could break a record, but temperatures didn't quite get up to that 90-degree mark that we needed. That would have actually tied the record set back many, many years ago. Here's your live look over Broadway. Still an active night on a Broadway. Cars bumper to bumper. A lot of people out there on a Broadway tonight. 74 degrees. That's our current temperature. The good news, we had some showers move through earlier. There was no lighting with any of those, though, so that did not mess up any sort of the outdoor events that are going on right now. Still fairly dry for us, too. We have this cold front that's back out west of here. That's moving through parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas right now. That's going to keep on moving east, and that's going to give us that weak cold front moving through tomorrow, and that should help kick off a few more showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours as well, possibly. Radar loop over the past 3 hours really not showing a whole lot now. Most of that rain has now lifted out of our area, and most of us are sitting with dry conditions right now, but we are expecting that to change a little bit as we head on through the overnight hours. More showers are expected. Morgan Wallen concert again for tomorrow. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Unfortunately, they are going to be possible, and we're going to see a similar setup on a Saturday. These will just be very pop-up storms, though, kind of summertime. More details coming up on everything else here in just a bit.
Well, thank you. Right now, cicadas starting to pop up across the South and Midwest. A big year for these big bugs as two different broods are essentially emerging. Now, the rarest brood, brood 8, only comes out every 17 years. They're popping up in the areas that you see here highlighted in red, primarily in the northern part of Illinois. Now, the cicadas that you will be seeing in our area, if you haven't already, are part of what's called brood 19, and they come out every 13 years. These bugs are more spread out. You see them in the blue here, mostly found in Missouri, although they also come out in some parts of Tennessee as well as other parts of the South. Now, we'd like to know what you think about all this. Have you seen cicadas where you live yet? If you haven't, you will. 309 people weighing in. The majority, though, almost 70%, saying we haven't seen it yet. Every night, look for a new X poll on our page that you can take part in, and our thanks to all who took time to vote in this poll.
Well, tomorrow, a love scheme that's breaking some bank accounts and some hearts. Romance cons in the U.S. are on the rise, raking in billions of dollars. And those behind the keyboard know exactly what they're doing. From playing the long game to gain your trust to using AI to create a fictional person. Once they take your money and it's gone, it's almost impossible to get it back.
My whole thing is don't become a victim. I personally have dealt with a half a dozen victims here right in our area who were victimized in this scam.
Friday on Fox 17 News at 9, the red flags you simply cannot ignore.
Top intelligence officials briefing lawmakers.
Making headlines tonight, top intelligence leaders briefed U.S. senators today on what they believe to be the biggest threats to the U.S. And the top of their list, cyber attacks.
Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar has more on that, including why these leaders say the U.S. is so vulnerable.
a forewarning about the nefarious activity of America's adversaries. The Director of National Intelligence and Director of Defense Intelligence describing to the Senate Armed Services Committee what they see as the top 3 worldwide threats. Authoritarian powers tightening their bonds, especially China and Russia. Tensions in the Middle East and Eastern Europe that could erupt into full-blown regional conflicts. And what they say is one of the most pernicious threats, cyber attacks.
We have seen a massive increase in the number of ransomware attacks globally in the last year, which went up as much as 74% in 2023.
American entities, especially healthcare systems, are currently the biggest targets. The recent United Health hack disrupted payment and claim systems nationwide. But it's the nation's critical infrastructure, water, agriculture, energy, transportation, that the intelligence community fears will be prime targets if the U.S. is drawn into war with what some in Congress call a new axis of evil: Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea.
What we see is both China and Russia effectively trying to pre-position themselves in ways that would allow them to conduct those kinds of attacks.
Russia and China have denied involvement in cyber attacks.
Intelligence officials say the first line of defense is private companies locking their digital door, so to speak. In fact, they say in virtually every attack on U.S. infrastructure, hackers took advantage of unnecessary vulnerabilities. And sometimes it's as simple as a weak password.
As adversaries tighten their alliances, the stakes of war get higher and higher.
Basically, if we were to have a conflict with one, the chances are we would have a second front.
Officials are convinced that what the U.S. does now to prepare will determine its ability to respond to attacks, cyber or otherwise, in the not-too-distant future. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Nishar reporting.
This week on Full Measure, with the border crisis a pretty big concern for the 2024 election, President Biden is surprising some of his supporters by building new border walls. For the better part of 3 years, President Biden and his Homeland Security chief claimed the border was closed and secure. This as border agents say millions of immigrants poured in illegally. But now the administration has started work on miles of new border barrier, even as it's opposing the Texas move to do the same.
The hypocrisy is so nauseating. You know, on one end, you have President Biden building the border barrier, and at the other end, he's suing Governor Abbott for building or erecting a border barrier.
Why do you think the turnaround at the 11th hour? Why would the Biden administration now be building border wall?
I mean, bottom line is people overall as a country, they are seeing what's happening here. And the reality is that the circumstances that when you're having individuals coming into the country and again, not properly vetted or catch and release, it's having an impact on the national perspective here.
Well, this week on Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson takes us to where the Biden border wall is being built and talks to locals about the issues driving their vote in 2024. That's Sunday morning at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
Should there be graduate ceremonies based on identity? I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a look at the controversy.
In addition to protest chaos and canceling graduation ceremonies, there is another issue brewing on America's college campuses.
Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens has more on the controversy over graduation ceremonies.
Wendy's Orange Dreamsicle Frosty, this takes me back, man.
It's like taking a trip down memory lane.
I didn't know they sold dreamsicles on memory lane.
For the flavor that takes you back, get Wendy's new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty.
If you're living with HIV, imagine being good to go without daily HIV pills. Good to go off the grid. Good to go nonstop. With Cabenuva, there's no pausing for daily HIV pills. For adults who are undetectable, Cabenuva is the only complete, long-acting HIV treatment you can get every other month. It's 2 injections from a healthcare provider just 6 times a year. Don't receive Cabenuva if you're allergic to its ingredients or if you're taking certain medicines which may interact with Cabenuva. Serious side effects include allergic reactions, post-injection reactions, liver problems, and depression. If you have a rash and other allergic reaction symptoms, stop Cabenuva and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems, mental health concerns, and if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or considering pregnancy. Some of the most common side effects include injection site reactions, fever, and tiredness. With Cabenuva, you're good to go. Ask your doctor about switching.
Wendy's fries are always hot and crispy.
Friday!
So Toby says every day is now
Friday, Friday, Friday. Tuesday.
Friday.
Wednesday.
Friday.
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 Get the fries other fries wish they could be. Wendy's hot and crispy fries, guaranteed.
Well, are we ready for this?
What's next, Grandma?
Hayden, do you want to cut the banana?
Okay, let's do it.
Look at him. Now comes the best part, the bluebell ice cream. Oh, that's fun. Hey, how about some chocolate? And some sprinkles.
How's this, Grandma?
That looks so yummy. You know, your mom is gonna love this. Don't forget a spoon.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
So, still a few degrees shy of the record. The record was 90, set back many years ago. Here's your live look over Broadway. A little bit of an active night still. Earlier, this camera had a lot more vehicles going on down at Broadway. Not seeing quite as many right now. There's still some folks out there. 74 degrees in Nashville. Overall, the weather for us, not too bad right now. We had some showers move through earlier this evening. Those moved in and out very quickly. Not seeing any rain right now in our area. I'll zoom in just a second. But I want to point out this cold front that's back to the west of here, moving through parts of Oklahoma, now into Arkansas right now. That's going to keep on sliding to the east, moving to our area for tomorrow, and I think that should set off a few more showers and thunderstorms. The good news, though, even though we have a cold front moving through this time of year, not looking at really any sort of severe weather threat for us for tomorrow. So good news right there. Here's that little batch of showers that was moving through earlier this evening. That moved right over Nissan Stadium, kind of in between the Clarksville and Nashville area, too, right there across Interstate 24. Really didn't cause a whole lot of issues, though. No lightning with that little round of rain that moved through earlier today. Later on tonight, overnight, more showers and a few more thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just going to be very scattered activity. Waking up tomorrow morning, heading out 7 o'clock in the morning, just scattered showers and thunderstorms. I think a lot of areas will still stay dry, but definitely some spots could be seeing some of that rainfall. This is kind of a summertime-like pattern that we're in, where these thunderstorms just kind of pop up with the help of that daytime heating through the afternoon hours, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where those thunderstorms are going to set up through the afternoon into the earlier part of the evening hours as well. This is Friday afternoon, Friday evening, kind of second round of that moves through. That's 10 p.m. on Friday, moving into Interstate 40. That's when we'll see another chance for some showers here in the Nashville area, and then another round for the overnight hours into Saturday morning. Saturday morning, 7 o'clock if you have any early morning outdoor plans. Looking at a chance for some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms right here across parts of Middle Tennessee. And I think Saturday night on into Sunday morning, we're going to see a little bit of a lull in the activity. Could still see some rain showers, not expecting a whole lot, though, for Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, though, once we get some of that daytime heating, more showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible for us through the afternoon on into the evening hours as well. That same trend is going to carry on over into Monday. Tuesday, we're looking at more of those pop-up kind of summertime-like thunderstorms for Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even into Thursday, too. As far as rainfall totals go, I think we're looking at about 1.5 to 3 inches or so for most areas. If you get caught up in one of those stronger thunderstorms, you could see a little bit more than that, though. It's just going to depend on where those stronger storms set up. Severe weather threat for tonight, way to the west. We won't have to deal with that for tonight. Friday, a similar setup. This is severe weather season for us, but overall, this severe weather threat is staying very low for the next several days. That's going to be staying well to the west of us, so we're not going to have to worry about any sort of severe weather for tonight, tomorrow, or really for the next several days. Severe weather really doesn't even look possible next week either. 67 degrees, our low temperature for tonight. That rain is going to keep on moving in. Winds coming out of the south at 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, there will be periods of showers and thunderstorms. Definitely going to see some dry periods too, but those pop-up showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible for us as we head throughout the day tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow topping out at the lower 80s, 82 for Friday, 82 on Saturday. We warm up a little bit on Sunday and Monday. High temperatures should be able to reach to the mid-80s on Sunday and Monday, 85 on Sunday, 85 our high temperature on Monday, and then I think the warmest day should be Wednesday, Thursday, highs in the upper 80s.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Flash flood warnings and flood watches are posted across East Texas today. At one point, rain was falling at a rate in excess of 13 inches per hour with wind gusts of 85 miles per hour. Last night, the system brought plenty of lightning along with heavy rain to the Austin area. And it's not rain, but lots of snow that's falling out of this storm cloud near Missoula, Montana.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
And to see more weather stories like this weekday mornings, check out the National Weather Desk. It starts at 8 a.m. on our sister station, MyTV 30.
I'm Jeff Harris. Backing up to a private lake, Saturday, May 4th, 10 a.m., conducted by James R. Cash, auction style.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Rocky McElhaney Law Firm.
Continuing coverage tonight as student protesters across America pressure universities to cut ties with Israel, including investments in Israeli-owned companies.
Now, leaders at some schools are bowing to that pressure, but as Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris shows us, critics say that sets a dangerous precedent.
Think of divestment as the opposite of investment. When protesters chant divest from Israel, they're asking that their schools sell off any investments they have with companies tied to Israel. But each school has different demands, and not all are asking for the same thing.
Students feel like, as this is their institution, they should have some say.
Divest from Israel. That's been a common message spreading on college campuses across the nation.
We will accomplish divestment. We are going to stay here until that.
But students at Columbia and students at universities like Yale are asking for different kinds of divestment. At Columbia, they want the university to divest from any company linked to Israel, like Microsoft and Amazon, while others are seeking divestment from weapons manufacturers.
But because some of the Fortune 500 companies, some of the largest companies in the American market are weapons manufacturers, technological organizations. So anyone with a broad sort of index of investments usually includes stocks in weapons makers.
Earlier this week, Northwestern University came to an agreement with students and faculty protesting the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. A step Yeoman says could set a precedent for how other schools respond to the calls for divestment.
I think this is a perfect model, actually, for the other universities to follow, and I think is only sort of a proper response to what we've seen happening in Gaza since October.
But not all agree. The Anti-Defamation League Midwest, along with the Brandeis Center and Stand With Us, issued a statement calling for Northwestern President Michael Schill to resign, saying that this agreement is rewarding protesters for their hate. While Northwestern became the first school in the United States to publicly announce a deal, Brown University announced yesterday a deal has also been made to end protest activity. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
We're moving into springtime event season, and that means there's a lot of loud noise. I'm Liz Bonus. A new report which says we should all be protecting our hearing. We explain why just ahead.
The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And psychologists say it's now time to reduce the stigmas surrounding mental health disorders. What can you and your family do to promote mental health awareness and wellness? That's coming up on Friday on Fox 17 News this morning.
Now I'm an attorney helping my fellow Marines and their families get the compensation they deserve. To see if you qualify, call me now at 1-800-844-1712.
In health news, as we head into summer, doctors tonight are warning us all to protect our hearing.
And as Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus explains, hearing loss is now being seen in young people, including teenagers.
Hey there, everybody. It is estimated that nearly 17% of teenagers and 19% of people in their 20s now have signs of noise-induced hearing loss. Audiologists say much of this can be prevented with hearing protection.
From holiday fireworks to the Indy 500, the noise that surrounds us in everyday life is just greater than in years past. Dr. Matthew Kist of Kentucky's Lund Hearing Care Associates says it's almost as if we think we don't need to worry about it after infancy.
You see NFL players after games, they have their kids down on the field sometimes, or after the Super Bowl, and they have those big earmuffs, right? Well, that should tell you something. We're protecting hearing from the infancy stage, right? That shouldn't stop as we go through our teenage years and into our young adult years.
The problem, he says, is that once you lose your hearing, it's often not reversible. And if you don't boost your hearing with assistance devices, you run the risk for future brain problems such as early memory loss and Alzheimer's disease.
It's just as important to protect your hearing as it is to protect the rest of your health. Wearing hearing protection when it's necessary.
In addition to hearing protection, it's suggested you follow the 60-60 rule when using any listening device. It means keep device volumes at or below 60% and limit listening time to no more than 60 minutes. Since 1 in 10 of us do now struggle to hear at least some sounds by the age of 50, according to the National Institutes of Health.
If you do have a hearing loss, the best course of action from that point is to get fit with a set of hearing aids. The studies show that providing that input to the ear and to the brain, putting in the sounds that you've been missing, can help keep the brain more healthy and active, and it can slow the progress of the hearing loss by quite a bit.
One of the reasons it is critical to get hearing tested is that if you address this hearing loss early, you reduce the risk for that long-term dementia and Alzheimer's. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
We're really in a summertime-like pattern with these showers and thunderstorms. It's going to be very pop-up.